for safety, so make sure everybody's in a safe location. You're not driving, that type of thing. But you know, you got to save. The main thing is you have to evacuate. You're able to do so easily and safely. So give everybody a quick 10 seconds, 15 seconds, just make sure if you have to move anything or anything like that, go ahead and do so. So we'll cut back on in about 10 or 15 seconds. Alrighty then. All right, and also as always, you know, remember this is being recorded and for visual and audio. So if you were not comfortable with that, then by all means, you're more than welcome to leave the call. If not, then just kind of be mindful that we are recording both visually and audio for audio as well. So with that all being said, I personally don't have really any agenda per se, because I think last time I didn't, and it went pretty well. So I'm gonna try it again this go around. I'm not really kind of getting anything in a particular order, and it helps me out a lot because I don't have to prepare a whole bunch of stuff. And two, to be honest, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but we're still, you know, neck deep and trying to get our training stuff up and running. So I've been spending a lot of time with that lately, and just really had too much time to kind of dive into other things. But I know one thing that Terry did bring up that is a good topic of discussion is around, I think, the vault. For folks who may not be aware, I'm assuming the toolkit functionality that comes with the toolkits and not the UDH part, as far as the marking tool for marking the add removals and existing things for electrical. Am I stating that right, Terry?
That is the intent.
That is the intent. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and as far as I know, and it is for everyone else on the phones, FYI, I think I know that us at Duke and Southern, I think, have kind of dabbled into a little bit of the existing vault functionalities. I'm sorry about vault, but like electrical functionality as far as marking certain things. I believe Southern's a lot further than we are, but from my experience, and I sent the email to Terry that at the moment, and I could be wrong, and I guess this really will be more or less a Nate question, but I believe he's may have already answered it for you, Terry, was that right now there is no integration from the marking of add removals in AutoCAD Electrical using their tool, converting or identifying itself within the vault system when you put it into vault for extraction or anything else.
Yeah, that's correct.
That I know of. Okay. Yeah, that I know of. That's current state.
Okay. One of my coworkers here kind of just thought that somebody had seen that in Vault, that it takes the stuff that was on the add layer, moves it to an existing layer, and then actually deletes the items from the remove layer when it does, I don't know, like a change of state or something like that.
Yeah, now what I would say is that Vault natively, and this was actually before the toolkit theme existed, because I even gave a demo of it, and I think it's on the AU University site somewhere. If not, I think I got the video of it somewhere, Terry, that I can send you at some point in time if you want to look it over. As I actually go through a scenario that I actually added and removed some things and changed some stuff around using basic out-of-the-box AutoCAD Electrical and Vault functionality, and pushing it into Vault and actually it telling me what was deleted and what was the differences, without using any type of toolkit stuff. But the main thing of getting that to work was that you have to create your WDP file or your project file as an item within Vault, and then you have to make it revisable, so it has to revision up or whatever.
Oh, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, I got it somewhere. Like I said, I know. I think it's out on the AU University site. Things on one of the older ones somewhere there, I think. If you can find it, that'd be, you can watch it there. But if not, just let me know, and I can probably see if I can scrounge it out somewhere. I want to say it was back in 2014, maybe around there, 2013. So I know that Vault has the capability of doing that but then, like I said, that was way before even the toolkits were in any type of infancy or existence.
Okay.
because what I will say, and I'll let Randy talk for Southern and how they do it. But I know for us, what we're doing with the toolkit, anyways, mainly right now, as far as we're not, I guess we haven't dived into our workflow of actually utilizing the add remove tool yet. Because I do know that for 7.2, I think the new toolkit actually Nate added more functionality to that add remove tool within the toolkit itself, like getting a report and all this type of thing. And I was playing with it a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of noticed there's some shortfalls within it. But
Okay.
overall, it's like 90% pretty good. But for our intensive purposes, I can kind of see us kind of using it in AutoCAD Electrical itself. But we're basically producing a CSV file that has our identifiers on it for our install, remove, what have you, with the material information, and we're pushing that into our ERP system as an actual .csv file, and not even using Vault as the mechanism at the moment. So I don't know how you guys were thinking about maybe utilizing your system within your system, but I guess there's two different thoughts of process. Like I don't know what you're using either. I know we're using Maximo, which will accept a .csv file as an import into itself for a work order. I don't personally know all the configurations and things in the background. That's more of our IT folks that have a better idea of that. But I do know that will consume CSV files, which electrical will output, as long as you configure your headers in a certain fashion that your Maximo system or ERP system can understand. That's kind of our current state.
Okay.
I don't know, Randy, if you want to elaborate what you guys are doing on your end that would help carry out.
It's sort of more of the same. We hadn't really used that track add remove tool very much, simply because all the jobs that we've done have been brand new projects, and we plan on using that on like greenfield stuff. I mean, not greenfield, but brownfield stuff. And we haven't really dove into that very much. We're still kind of writing that into the process, the track add remove tool. So we hadn't really made a lot of headway with it.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, for adding things to certain layers and adding PI numbers, what we call them PI numbers, the project identifying number in our system. It sort of adds it to that particular piece of equipment when you put it in like an add layer. Whatever that project's PI number is, it gets attached to that piece of equipment, and you can kind of identify it that way, as well as it'll change the color to red for add and say green for remove. So
yeah, I think for us, it kind of what I've noticed anyway was that to your point, I know it's like 7.2. I think is the latest toolkit release. I think Nate added a reporting function that wasn't available in 7.1, which they released in June, I think.
Yeah, I downloaded it 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, I've been playing with it. Like I said, I've been doing all the other stuff, so I've been kind of seeing what's new. And actually, if I can I'll show you my screen, or show everybody my screen, and I kind of give you a look at it if you haven't had a chance to play with it. So one thing I've noticed, anyways, even at least for us, is kind of things that build upon themselves, especially tempo switch blocks and those type of things. When it's actually doing a count based upon the material name, location, and installation combination. But when it sees it as the same thing for 20 of them, and you're removing 10 and you're keeping 10, it doesn't understand the quantity count exactly right for some reason. We found out. We kind of ran into that issue a little bit, or I did. That they taught Nate around. But so I think it's the track add remove option here. I think is what I think Terry's talking about. Or I'm sorry, no, it's not that one. I think it was where was it at? It was Oh, no one had like a big old list. I think where was it at? I got to remember. They had all this new stuff in here. I guess was it Mark? I think probably this is it. Yeah. So I think basically what Randy's saying And kind of what's playing around here was, here's like your job number, your work order number, whatever it may be. You can add, like whatever, right? Add it to there, and then you can select your items, which I think I've already selected some here. So we got 3, red, green, what have you. And I think the one thing that was new was this little report button down here. I don't know if you saw this or not, Randy. But I think the one thing that was new was this little report button where you can hit it, and then it goes through and looks for all the distinguishing job orders versus, that's within this 1, 2, 3, 4 in this case, and all the drawings that's in that station. So this is the only one that has anything, but if you had more, then you obviously would select like you would anything, holding control or shift or what have you. And that gives you this report, which gives you your ad, but it needs, what I've noticed, it gives you an ad as an instance and not necessarily a quantity. So it's nice to a point. And I think the other thing that was missing that I've noticed, at least on our, or me just playing around with it, I'm missing my manufacturer information. That's kind of a no bueno in that case. It's still pretty good as far as getting there. Visually, it works great. As far as identifying, that part works awesome. Is just kind of getting this reporting function down to a little bit more granularity than what it's got. And I,
one thing about it, one thing about it that I didn't necessarily like or wanted to be enhanced, I guess, was if you put something on, say, an ad layer on one drawing, it doesn't automatically put the other pieces of that component on an ad layer on other drawings.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it does not do that. It's on per instance basis. And I think I even told Nate the same thing. That if we want to remove something, then I want to make sure that it identifies itself all the way throughout. So now what we did, because we kind of bypassed a little bit of this, one thing I've noticed, or one thing I did, was that we actually go in and actually edit the footprint, and we started putting our install, remove, or whatever in this line 3 description item of the actual component. And what that does, it actually propagates all the way throughout everything. Because I think in electrical, it uses this information up here and the description data and the manufacturer data, I believe. And if you change any of that, then it'll want to update everything else that's associated to. So I think, like, for example, like for install, we'd put an I or R or A or whatever, so R for remove, that type of thing. And
but as you see here, though, right?
It would be
to run a report to see it.
Now, actually, when I run my bill of material reports, and now it's going through and looking for everything. So now it's all got an I on it through description 3 on everything. So that's the wiring diagram and the schematic stuff. So everything's been updated to I. So that's install, for example. So now if I go and actually just run a basic report here, a bill of material report, and we actually have a thing, I think I actually have a specific specific .zip file that we go in, that we use. Okay, so we got a thing called TIM, so TMCU Maximo Set. So it uses that, and I think it's actually a purchase list, if I remember right. Yeah, there it goes. So there's my I. Well, it's backwards with the headers here, but there's my I. So all that gets captured right there. Okay. Then they got this is quantity of 3. The only problem there is right now it doesn't break it down per part piece. But if I go back and rerun kind of the same thing, but use a by tag format, I think what it is the easier way of doing it. So that's like per tag, which is fine. And also another thing I found out too, I was able to, how we're using I was playing around with it. I was able to get the actual as-built add and remove, pulling from Nate stuff to add to my own report. So that's another thing you can do too. But if I wanted to add that I in there, for example, I think it's under description. Description 3, right? So since that goes through, so there it is. There's that one that's installed. So add, whatever, same thing. There it is right here. So you can kind of play with it a little bit, but what we found out just because, to your point, until Nate gets kind of that part figured out, that we've been kind of using this description 3 to kind of house our status information. Because if you change it, it changes it everywhere. So then what we do after that is we actually have a list routine that was written, and I got no problem sharing this with anybody that might want it. But basically, it goes through right here, and it says you basically want to update the panel TIM layer, and there it goes in and updates the layer. But what it does, it actually goes and reads the actual description 3, and then it changes the layer based upon the value. So that's a white. So it's white here for install. So kind of not similar, but I just went with white instead of green. But if I say, for example, that we change this to R for remove, which the only downfall is you got to go into the edit option to make a change, but that's fine. So it goes out and changes that particular I to an R with all its connecting components. Then I can go back to that same routine right here, and now it's back to red. And then once I say I'm done with the job, then I can go in here and actually hit this button right here, change to existing panel, and it automatically goes in and updates and changes the I or R to an E, and then it changes it to an existing layer all at one time. And then you can run, it's basically a script routine. So you basically can run the script routine through the utilities function and run a script file, go find that script file and run it through all your drawings at one time. And then you're, kind of this repeat function. So that was one thing that we did here to kind of alleviate some of the missteps of the add remove tool until Nate kind of gets it a little bit polished.
Okay.
Not saying that everybody needs to do it this way, but
add remove tool is supposed to streamline that process.
Yeah,
you guys found a way to do it. It's just a lot of clicking.
It is. It is. The major downfall to the add remove tool is that exactly what you pointed out, and I pointed out to Nate too, was that if I mark this as add here in my wiring diagram, I want it marked on my schematics as well, all at the same time.
Yeah. Change the color.
Or vice versa. Right. Either way. So yeah, that's kind of the one downfall. Not downfall, but the one thing that keeps being that's missing. But the one neat thing I did, so like I said, I was playing with it here and everything, kind of messing around, was that actually being able to pull, because it took me a minute to kind of figure out where he was pulling the X data from. So for the folks that may not know, any of the reports that you guys create, you actually can pull X data from anything and put it into reports, and that's all data. That's all that Nate's doing. So like for this particular item, not list. I'm sorry. It was X data. AE list X data. There you go. So if I click on, say this one over here, so there's all the X data information there. So there's the project number, the status, and then what layer it's on. That type of deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me try to get my wrong button. There it goes. All right. So here's all my X data stuff, right, of that particular block. So that's where he's putting all the information at. So one thing you can do for the ones that may or may not know, you go to that user attributes deal where you can add your own. But in this case, I got a standard WDA. It's actually what they call a WDA file. You can create a standard one, or you can create a project specific or station specific one, however you want to do it. But in this case, since our permissions that IT won't give us, that I have to go get fixed, I have it on the project basis. But what you're able to do is actually go in and actually tell it the actual X data information, and what you want it to be as far as the column header. So once you save that, then you can go into your actual reports, and then when you actually run a report within that, with that WDA being there, then it actually gives you the options of actually adding, like here, the status, and then if I want to add that in the work order, so now it's available to me if in this list over here to the left. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of take what Nate's doing and kind of borrow some of that from there, because like right here, I got a quantity of 3 adds for this particular CU number, because I'm also pulling our compatible unit number as well. And it's an add, and so I'm using his tool, but I'm using the report generator that comes out of the box to pull the X data that he's actually pushing stuff to. But again, the problem is I'm only able to do this on the drawings that you interact with. So all the schematics and things that I did not touch, they don't have this information on it, right? So you can kind of, you know, one half, two of another at the moment. So I like the idea. I think it's getting there. It's just unfortunately not there completely yet. And supposedly the UDH tool, which I don't know if you guys are using that Southern or not, this thing, which is supposed to be basically a more enhanced version of that, where again, this is actually reading, in this case, this will actually be reading your ERP system and looking for projects as associated with your username. And then you kind of click open. I think actually this was actually tested with Southern Company's information, if I remember right. So what it's doing is actually grabbing it from a SQL database, pulling all the information in, like the PI. See, there you go. This would be familiar to you, Randy. Your PI number, right?
Yeah.
Status, PI types. All this is Southern Company stuff, I believe.
Yep.
So I think we're actually using a demo version of your information. But anyway, long story short, they're supposed to be able to go in and actually do the same thing. So this is kind of like the more enhanced version of what Nate had, and supposedly you're supposed to be able to go in and actually do a bill of material, a current CAD tool, pull the panel components only or all or whatever, get BOM data, and I think it says to bring everything in. But on the flip side of things, if you mark stuff as internal, or as add or remove, it's supposed to add it over here, and all this is blank. So that's the problem.
Yep, we are using that.
Okay. You are or you are not?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay.
We are using it. Or at least
where it looks like,
we've done,
where it looks like Nate's tool was trying to do something similar without it. Well,
Are you guys using UDH to do like cable schedules and add cable lengths and that kind of stuff too, or?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
they have a cable matching. Yeah, they have a cable matching function in here. I think that it's supposed to go in and you match the cable from the inventor side right here once you link them, and you match it to the ACAD cable, and then you're able to get the length from the inventor to attach to that, and then it puts it down here or something. If I remember right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And that's been one of we've tested it, but we haven't had it necessarily the scheduling and the types of jobs that come up and when they come up to have a physical person working on a project at the same time as a P&C person. So we hadn't been able to coordinate all that on the actual project.
So far in your testing, or?
Say again. Oh yeah. It worked in testing. I don't remember what the attributes are, and maybe it's count, but that's what was capturing the distances from the inventor side to our side, and they were kind of matching that attribute up. I think it's count.
Okay.
In the report. But
yeah, well, I don't have anything at all that links, so I can't show you. But I think if I remember right, that's what it's supposed to kind of do. But the big major thing for us right now, especially, I mean, cable length is important, but not as important as the BOM and capturing the status at the moment. I guess is number one priority. Is that the issue current state is that it's not grabbing our markings at all worth a darn. And I think I've sent this to Dan and them almost like 4 months ago. I still don't have a solution, so I'm still waiting on something. So hopefully they kind of able to fix some of that in the near term. So I don't know who's on the line, but somebody got some loud background noise.
Inviting group 4 passengers. Group 4, 1 through 4. Also,
somebody's at the airport on group 4.
Active U.S. military with IQ. Thank you for your service.
Sounds like it's Armand.
Thank you. Awesome. So anyway.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry about that.
It's people when they're traveling. It's all good. I just know it's like, man, that was really loud. So anyway, so I think that's kind of, I think the potential is getting there. I think the polishing part of it is kind of not quite there yet. Because like I said, there's a lot of capability within even just the native tools to kind of capture some of that stuff. But of course, the biggest thing that I think, like Randy said, that they definitely need to work on their end, I think first and foremost is that, like we said, if we say I want this to be add or remove or whatever, then it goes and looks for anything that has the same component tag, location, and installation code, just like anything else would, and then it update that Xdata information at the exact same time. And to Randy's point, go ahead and put the layer on there too, or whatever, right? I mean, I know wires and those type of things are going to be a little bit more difficult, but I think at least starting out, it needs to be the major component pieces, so the big blocks of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hound Nate on that side of things as well. So if he gets it from a couple of different fronts, maybe we'll get what we want. Yeah.
I think the one thing I did find out so far with us, anyways, initially, and as you can tell right here, let's say I got these 10 here, but I want to remove just these 2. It still can't distinguish the difference between that. Oh, this is all the same parts. So I got 10 of these, and I'm removing 2. It's only wanting to keep the same set of 10 or something. Those are some other things that was coming up kind of weird. So I was trying to think about everything that we possibly can run into and that type of deal. But like I said, he's close. He's pretty close, but it's not quite there yet. Current state, but it's definitely a lot better than it was a couple of years ago for sure. And like I said, the major thing that I've noticed was the reporting. I think it was the reporting function that they added that was new. Or something. Oh yeah, there it is. This reporting button, which I thought was kind of neat. Yes, also to get the surf buttons. So also, I think the new thing they added was the surf functionalities, where it actually surfs the actual work order, so you can actually go through and surf around what was added or what all the changes to that specific work order. So I think that's kind of cool. Don't get me wrong. So that's kind of a nice addition. So like I said, if you guys haven't gotten to it lately, that's some of the new things that I kind of noticed with the add remove type of stuff. I guess also the other thing I need to talk to Nate about, maybe all of us do too, in a sense, is that there's too many track add remove buttons. So I have a wiring one here, and I got another one up here. I think there's another one over here somewhere. There's like 3 or 4 of them, and they all kind of do something very similar but different. So it kind of gets confusing. I don't know about you, Randy, or anybody else who's used these, but I know they start kind of, it starts getting kind of confusing after a while. I think also the other thing was that they have a rename tool as well, which is kind of nice. But
rename what?
Yeah, rename. So, like for example, I think this one, like if 1, 2, 3, 4, your work order number changes, and you want to rename it to something different, then you actually can rename all the adds, the removes, and the as builts for that 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 1, 2, 6, 7 without having to go in and do it manually. It's a project wide thing. Or if you want unmarked, or if you want to change all the statuses, whatever. So if you want to change for everything from 1, 2, 3, 4, all the removes and adds to as built, you just click that and it runs through. So it's very similar to that. It's very similar to the button that I created through that list routine, but I'm running it through the utility script. Kind of the same thing, but now and then I was going through a whole bunch of button clicks, so this kind of simplifies that process. Or unmark everything. So that's kind of a nice addition he did that to there.
Yeah, I think I talked to him about that too, Jared, about a rename tool for the project number.
So the project number?
Yeah, so I think I think it was Randy who said it. Like if we attack them from multiple angles, a bunch of people start requesting it. You might work on it.
So I think because I know I've been shooting for ones that may or may not know. You can go to their website and put in a ticket and all this other stuff. But that kind of seems to only go so far, in my opinion. So I think what we might need to do, maybe on one of these calls, or even in October, if it takes to that point, Again, kind of what we did last year, kind of hold Nate down and kind of maybe come up with a list of things that we want to talk about collectively as a group. I say, Nate, here's the things that we want you to focus on and fix, add, or change. So here, type of thing. That I think that we all can go ahead and predetermine that we all are on the same page on what the need needs to be from a utilities point of view, which might help. But I know, Terry, I think we probably went around a humongous circle in your initial question, but hopefully you got some good ideas, maybe at least, if anything.
Yeah, it gives me a better idea of what the landscape is right now, and then I'll take up some other conversations with Nate just to see where that stuff is heading. And then seems like it's kind of on the horizon a little bit, but definitely in his wheelhouse that he can do something. So
I think the hard part. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just under the impression that somebody already had something working. So at least I'm clear on that now, and then I can take that to the rest of the group in BC Hydro and let them know where things sit at least.
Okay, yeah, because I know Southern's using this part of it right here, which is kind of it gives you 90% of it, but you still have to go in and change the action manually, which gives you the add or remove or what have you. I know, and our solution's kind of a different take. And like I said, we're adding that value into the description 3 line, and it basically gives us exactly what we need and exactly what we want without having to use the toolkits for right now until they kind of get a little bit better. So I guess those are kind of your 2 solutions that do work today, and will give you kind of what you need. But there, again, like to Randy's point, there are some more manual efforts and things and this, that, and the other that they're not perfect by no means, but they do work for right now until we kind of get there.
Sure.
So there's two different options. You know, if you guys want to, if you have to, I guess my point is depending on your time frame, right? It's kind of your driver.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're just going through our test substation right now and kind of building out our library and making stuff work. So these are just questions coming from the slightly elevated management level.
Okay.
I thought it did this, so just ask some people and see how it works and that kind of stuff, because we're trying to move from our definition phase over into the implementation phase. So these are things that we're going to want to have some kind of answers to before we get into that stage, so that we can either investigate it further in that stage or say we're going to hold off right now and wait till the tool develops a little bit more or something like that, but then we can still help guide that moving forward. So
yeah, because really the big thing, I guess, is that it will give you a BOM out of the gate, no problem. The challenges start coming in when you have to start identifying which ones are add versus remove versus transfers, or whatever your company's requirements of identification are. Because I do know before, like I think the last 2 years, we really didn't have to track all that type of stuff until the last couple of years with our new, I guess, directions. So it really wasn't a major challenge or issue with electrical at the time. But now with those new requirements, then it's become a little bit more specific. That we have to kind of track those type of things and that type of deal, where we can, like I said, I think you at least have an idea where you can go back and say, yes, it's possible. There's 2 options out there, but there's also there's still some clunkiness here or there that kind of waiting on a more streamlined approach from SBS and that type of thing.
Right.
But of course they're going to need our input.
We don't have that requirement right now that we need to produce this information. It's more of an additional help for the field when they're doing the installs and the removals. And then we were looking for a quick way just to consolidate that information once we got it back from as-built and that kind of stuff. But if we have to write a script or something like that, then to combine things, or even just take the workflow in our own hands and say select everything from the removals and delete it, and then move the other stuff into an existing layer, then we'll do so. But
yeah, because I mean, if you're trying to send out a teardown and a construction print or whatever, I mean, the actual toolkit functions they'll probably work for you just fine if you don't have to capture that data as a line item in a database somewhere that you got to reutilize somewhere, and it absolutely has to be correct.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're not at that point, I think the toolkit stuff still probably gets you pretty darn close to what you want.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's more so just on the as-built side in consolidating that information when we get it back, right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So,
thanks.
So hopefully that, I guess that answered your question. I hope. So cool. So, does anybody else, I guess, have any additional comments, questions, or concerns on anything? I guess at the moment.
Nope. I added that best practice document. Which one was it? Symbol creation. Added that to the buddy drive. So it's out there.
Cool. Okay, so I think yours is out there. I think now also Tim's is out there, and I believe Amon actually volunteered himself to do one as well.
Did he?
So I got an email from yesterday, I think. So I know I want to go through the list, or this morning. Kind of want to go through the list and kind of, I guess I'll just send that to him and then just let him pick which one he would like to accommodate to. So thank you, Armand, for that. I think I've already sent you a thank you to the email, but again, appreciate it. Definitely need more. We definitely need to kind of do some more of those for sure. And a good thing about letting multiple folks from other industry, or even other companies to do it as well. It kind of gives different perspectives, so it kind of helps out with that as well, I think. So, at least it's not all coming from one source, which may not be, right for everybody, let's say. But of course, trying to make these documents as generalized but as specific, but as generalized as possible as well. So I guess, Martin, if you want to actually look at the ones that's currently out on the SharePoint Buddy Drive, kind of give you an idea of the format. I think that's one thing we definitely want to keep consistent if we can. And if I think I actually have the templates. Yeah, I think I have the templates of those. I can send you those as well too, with that list once I kind of get to that point, which should be soon.
Yeah, that'd be great. I was pretty much going to just take Randy's and clear all the content to use the format.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Either way, yeah, whatever works. Cool. Of course, anybody else who's on the phone call.
Oh, did Tim's get posted recently? Tim's cable one? I didn't see that.
Which one, Randy's?
I didn't hear the question.
No, Tim's.
Oh, yeah.
Tim?
Oh,
is that the one he did with cable? Let me look.
I think so.
I think so too.
A minute ago. WD jumper, symbol creation, wire. Let's see, annotation. That was the one. Oh, that's yours, Jared. I don't see it out here either. Where is it?
Oh, it was out there. Hold on, I'm gonna check.
It disappeared.
Where did he?
I see two.
Out there.
I see two for WD jumpers, which don't need to be out there.
Yeah.
One of those need to go.
I don't know. Let's see what I got. Standard best practices, I think it was. Endless creating blocks. Go back up. No, it was a best practice. You know what? I know that he was having an issue with trying to get it out there. It kept coming up as like garbled symbols and things.
Okay.
And I thought I put it back out there. I thought he did. You know what might have happened? Because I obviously had her either. You know, it might have actually happened. I might have actually. Hold on, I actually got some fun. I'm thinking about it. It was
Yeah, I see duplicates of other stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay.
WD annotation is what he did. It was this one right here.
The one that you put out there?
Yeah, that's the one that Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, he sent it to me because he was having issues, so I actually uploaded it for him. So the WD, the wiring diagram annotation, I think is actually what he. Oh, you know what? It's still coming up as garbled blah. I think that was the problem before. Because there was something weird about.
Is it still coming up that way?
It's funny. Yeah, so I think what it was is that I was trying to get that.
Yeah.
But in reality, for some reason, it's putting it in a bunch of gobbledygook. But this is actually what he sent me.
Yeah, I see that. I
So
closed
got
it
all
really
the
quick.
stuff. Oh, sorry. So here's the actual document that he sent me, and of course opening it from the email works just fine. But when I actually added it out in the actual, this is my training stuff, so I'll look at it. I don't care.
So it's a PDF.
So the PDF, but when you actually open it from here, it's gobbledygook, and I do not, and it's only his. I mean, all yours works fine as far as I can tell.
It seems like it's trying to open it up in Word, a PDF up in Word. That's probably the issue.
That is probably the issue. What if I do
get it in Word
and do always open files? Show in folder.
to open with
So there's that right there.
and downloads it as a Word file.
Yep, that was an actual doc, even though it's actually a PDF, which is really awkward. That might be some of the reasoning why. But actually, while I'm thinking about it, just out of well, how hard is the deleted? I can't remember. Last name, no. I can't remember how to delete things out of here, to be honest. I think it's this. That's what it is. Remove select items from the group. Did I remove it? Okay, good. All right, so let me try it one more time, just out of curiosity. Download. Try to put it somewhere I can actually get it. Okay. Get it right there. Now, that might be a little better.
All right.
Oh, I think it might work now. Everybody saw me do it. That's what it was. I needed an audience. All right, so hopefully, I guess Armand or whoever, if you guys want to try to click on it and see if it works now.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
But,
I did try to download the presentation from April, and I think Randy's document, I got some weird error trying to open them up in the native Microsoft programs. It said something about the file needing to be repaired, and it was asking me like, "Oh, make sure all your content is still here," or something like that.
Oh man,
interesting.
That PDF.
Yeah, I'm not very.
Have you guys seen that at all?
I don't think so. So you're talking about the fall meeting, or the
April one?
Spring? Oh, this one. So the meeting minutes, or the actual
Like
links
the actual
to the PDF.
PowerPoint.
So this one, I think it is.
it opens up fine now, Jared.
Okay, cool. So this one right here is what you're trying to get to?
I'm just on the phone right now. I can't really see.
Okay, but basically it's the meeting minutes. What's actually out there is the meeting minutes, and there's also a document or a PDF that actually has actually has a PowerPoint. This is the other one, and like I said, I'm opening it up on mine, or trying to. Let's see if it works right. And we got 2010, so I don't know what everybody else is on, but
Okay.
there was a repair.
Yeah, it was the actual PowerPoint file that I was having an issue with.
Okay. So yeah, if you actually hit repair, it should open up just fine.
Yeah, it does. I was just, I was wondering if anybody else saw that, because yeah, I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, it's doing it to me too. I think the reason why is because it's a protected view file, which they require me to do that for dig purposes anyway. I don't know why. But anyway.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that might be something. Yeah, it might be something to do with it. So yeah, but once you hit it, it should open up just fine. And I think I put all the videos out on YouTube, so hopefully all the links to those should work. So it should run them. Hopefully.
Yeah, I've checked out a couple of them. Yeah, they work.
Okay, good. So okay, good. So you said, Randy, you did say that best practice did work.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. We're getting there.
Awesome.
We got more than one now. Okay, cool.
Still got one to work on.
Yeah, I still have mine too, unfortunately. But of course, I guess while I'm on to the subject, obviously everybody should know, or will hopefully should know that I think I don't know if it was on this one or the other one. No, that's what that was actually the minutes themselves. But all the presentations with this, like this meeting and everything, it's out there in the forum area, which is under this, if you may or may not know, up under the actual, the meeting video links. I'll try to update it as best I can. So I think I have everything updated up to last month. So you should have a YouTube video list of all of them, of the ones since last year of June. So cool. Is there anything else that anybody else has with our last 7 minutes?
Nothing from the airport, Jared.
Nothing from the airport. There you go. Appreciate it. I guess real quick, if we do kind of sign off and everything else, if anybody has anything, of course, if anyone else would like to tackle or take on a best practice or a standard of anything, again, just let us know, and obviously that'd be a great help as well, so we can start getting a whole bunch of these things, because I hate to say it, but the inventor guys are making us look kind of bad. I'm not saying we need to, but our stuff is, I like to say, is a little bit more. I would say it takes a little bit more mind thought to kind of actually do some things instead of just. I mean, who can't put the bolt and nut together, right? I mean, monkey out the zoo probably can do that, and probably better than most of the inventor guys. So I figure it's fine.
Well, I got a question. This little section on the website that says 2D content?
Mm-hmm.
You don't use that at all, do you? Because I know.
No, you talking about the groups?
Well,
this thing?
Yeah, it was a group called 2D content.
Yeah.
And on the leadership call, I was asked the question, does the P&C group use it? And my answer was, I don't think so, because I don't use it. And then,
I think the intent. Yeah, I think the intent or the understanding might have been that there would have been some regular AutoCAD usage folks that wanted to kind of go in the same type of direction but that didn't deal with electrical, the software itself, but dealt with AutoCAD, but yet still wanted to take some of the abilities of like common symbols and how they're built and blah blah blah. But we kind of encompass all that within this anyways. So, and I think that was actually started by somebody who actually no longer works at this particular company, anyways, that wanted to have their own agenda. Maybe, I don't know. And two is a public group, so I think it's kind of one of those catch-alls.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, you're right. I personally don't use it. I don't think anybody else on the phone does either. So.
Okay. Well, I answered that right then.
Yeah, I think the only new one that I know of is going to be this business strategy folks.
Okay.
All
right.
So with that being said, I guess we'll go ahead, and I know probably getting to the point of not really be able to go down any other subjects, but it is kind of nice to be able to actually kind of open forum some of this so we can go through some things that, like I said, I know trying to put together an agenda, I might not always have the best, I always have the best intentions in mind, but I might not have the best topics in mind. So this is kind of good. So we can actually start hitting the things that folks actually want to know about. So it's kind of nice. So if you guys are okay with it, I kind of will probably start kind of keeping it. And also it helps me out on my end on trying to keep things going. But yeah, so hopefully, I guess we kind of answer some of that question for the folks that wanted to know or may want to know or didn't know. Even the folks that maybe, you might have the toolkit and have no idea any of this stuff exists. Obviously, I would encourage anybody who does have it, just go play with it and kind of, figure some things out, maybe come up with some ideas that we may not have thought of so far. As you kind of saw today, we had to have some different thoughts or avenues of thought, and we're doing it differently, but we're still coming basically to the same output. So, I think we all can agree upon what the output needs to be. Now it's just a matter of trying to get on the same page on trying to get the either the toolkits or the process or whatever, hopefully to be similar and a little bit more automated than what it currently is. But of course, even at the simplest level, a lot of the stuff is still better than what we do today, in my opinion, regardless. But so with that being said, like I said, and I'll again just another call out to anybody if anybody wants to add or be associated with a standard or a best practice. And again, you don't have to do it by yourself. I mean, I have by all means, if you want to team up with another individual and do one, then that's perfectly fine as well. The more we can get done, the better off we can help everybody and help ourselves as well, and actually have that basis and even ammunition at times as needed. So again, just let us know, and we'll definitely send you the list and start trying to chip away at it. So hopefully everybody has a good day. Good rest of your afternoon or morning, depending on where you're at in the country. And we'll reconvene same time next month and go from there. I appreciate y'all's time.
All right. Thanks, Jared.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Randy.
No problem.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too.